This is not a learning experience or a living experience. It's a loving experience. The Song of the Abadut says, I am nectarian knowledge. Nectarian knowledge. I am everywhere, like space. How can you break that down, you see? I am everywhere, like space. Poetry in itself is love. Brahman, based on love. All about love. Absolute God. Source. All loving entities. When down the line did it become a learning experience, a justifying experience, a proving experience, a need to impress experience? These things have to be based on love. And if they're based on love, they're okay to exist. But a learning experience initially was based on those who had been misguided from love. Therefore, they had to be taught, taken back on the loving path. So therefore, the learning became worthwhile, as long as it was successful. But the learning has now moved into, it's not about reconnecting you with love, because you cannot get love until you get something that portrays you as love. Money, power, wealth. So the learning is for a secondary step towards love. We have went from loving, all being loving. When this earth was created and all was invited here, everything was loving. Until some picked the apple from the Garden of Eden and wanted a slightly more love, slightly different taste of love, a slightly different flavor of love. And then it was scolded and it had to learn, as in Adam and Eve. So it went from loving to having to be reminded about love, into centuries down the line, into this, dare I say it, conceptual, contemporary, evolved human race or human mind, into saying out loud, you will not be loved unless you have some sort of name tag. You're a celebrity. You're a king. You have a big mansion. You will not be loved. So you cannot blame those who have big mansions because they think the way is to love is to shine from material objects. So the learning becomes greater for even those who have lots and lots of this wealth, power, status, financial money. They also are saying, what about love? I was promised love. I've done all these hard things. You can't condone those who have made something materialistic out of their life because they've been guided in a way to say, this is how you have to become loving again. But they're not happy. Their body may be happy. They may be eating finer foods or whatever the mind says and what is a fine food, you see? A fine food is that what keeps your body alive. That's what a fine food is. A fine drink is that what keeps your body alive. I'm not here to define what is fine and what is not fine. Love is fine. The learning from those that have been misguided or went off the path of actual, absolute, genuine, accepting, trusting, and faithful love, which is what we are, what we are born with, and we sometimes forget, has now installed a whole planet of the minute a child is born loving, put it to school and let it learn about the things that are not associated with love. Because learning has completely forgot about what it is here for. Learning has taken on many matrix ways of, why do you go to university? Because that's the only way. I'll get a decent job and I'll make money and I'll be happy. At the end, you'll find love. Yeah? I don't know. I'm hoping. And what did the university say to you on your proposal? Come to the university and you will find money. Come to the university and you will find status, power. No, the university says come to the university and you will find yourself. A true reflection of yourself. We don't set out the agenda to make people value things that are associated with love. The agenda is set out to say that you are love. We accept you as love. And at the end, you will find something more about yourself that you lost through picking a piece of fruit off the tree, coming into a human body and being born and being put to an education school system that take you off the path of love so that you can rediscover it. So there's nothing wrong with money. There's nothing wrong with learning. There's nothing wrong with buying big mansions and castles and whatever. As long as the end product connects you as one with the rest of the planet, with the rest of the beings, as love. I remember a little story many years ago. And this body was in this, I have to impress the world situation. I have to fit in. I can't remain being poor. It's not right being poor. I want to be rich. I want to be the same. And I said to this friend, that's what I want to do. And they already had been successful. And they agreed, yeah, that's what you have to do. No one will love you until you become like me, like rich, like have lots of money. No one will respect you. That's the only way you find love. And I said, well, that sounds wonderful. So are you experiencing this genuine self you love? Yes. And I won't give any of it away. I had to work hard so they can work hard too. So the love that this one found was not going to be shared. It was going to be kept locked up in a bank, in a safe, in a castle, in a home, just so that this one could look at it. I changed that day. I said, you know what? I don't want to be like that. I don't want to go through the money route. I've got to learn like everyone else. I just want to find love. I just want to realize love. And that day I woke up, I looked in the mirror and the mirror said, where else do you have to look? It's everywhere. I shine it, I reflect it, I deflect it every day, every moment. It's just that you think that it's somewhere else. The learning is, don't pick the fruit off the tree. Let it fall. When it falls, it's ripe. It's ready to eat. It's fresh. Life is providing love every day. Life is the food of love. Life is the very being of love. How can one say all is God and God is love, except me, or except that, or except them? But you cannot understand these words until you find God. And then you're never out of love. Nothing is out of love. Everything is one whole love. And there's no more learning, you see. That's why there's no more interest, there's no more need to try and impress, to try and create, to try and prove, to try and justify, to try and measure, to try and compare, to try and prefer, to try and judge, to try and analyze. Because all is love.